account number, make I transfer to you. We brought something revolutionary, and that is the NQR code. Fantastic conversation. And we noticed something last week. A lot of people kept asking us, are you for real? So you mean that there's this option available to my business? It is cheaper, it is faster, and I'd never made use of it. So a lot of people actually got on board the NQR code. By the way, NQR means the Nigeria Quick Response Code. So it's a set of barcodes that you can scan with your phone and make payments quickly. And we thought to ourselves, wait a minute, how about we expand this conversation way beyond the NQR code? Let's bring to our audience more ways with which they can make payments with ease, with speed, and in a cheaper form. And that is why this week we have brought to you something juicy, something interesting. Trust me when I say this is something that will change the way you do business. What is it? Well, we're bringing to you contactless payment options for your business. And by extension, for you who are a customer or a consumer, these contactless payment options are for you as well. So either you're a consumer, a customer, or a business owner, you'll want to listen in for this one. Contactless payment options for your business. It is the new age. Technology has taken over. So do not be caught napping. Do not be left behind. So without taking much of your time, let's dive right into the conversation. But as always, I'd like you to know that you can be a part of the conversation by either calling in or sending us a message. And these are the numbers to call us or send us a message through: 0810 608 1681. I'll take it again. If you've got a phone there, if you've got a pen, just put down this number: 0810 608 1681. Or you can try this number: 0818 202 5883. I'll take that again: 0818 202 5883. So let's get right into this. This is actually the future. I take that back. This is the today of making payments, contactless payment options. And as always, I have amazing, brilliant, very experienced minds in the financial services sector to walk us through this very important topic of contactless payment options. So let me introduce our guests on the program this evening. Adewale Adedoku joins us. Is the lead POS business at Polaris Bank, joins us virtually on the program this evening. You're welcome to the show, Adewale. Also joining us is Adebanjo Olarewaju. Thank you, Adewale. Adebanjo Olarewaju is the head cards and messaging business at First Bank. Adebanjo, welcome to the show.
Adebayo, thanks.
Adebayo, pardon me, Adebayo. And last but not least, Kolawole Temitokba is the head merchant services at Keystone Bank. Kolawole, good to have you as well.
Thank you, Kaude. Good to have you too. Thank you, everyone.
So let's get right into it. Kolawole, Adebayo, and Adewale, these men are going to be breaking it down for us. I always say that it's rare to have bankers of this category, of this caliber, at the same place at the same time. So we're going to maximize this time we have with you gentlemen today. So let me begin with Adewale on this one. And we're starting from the basics, really. When I think contactless, I remember COVID-19. During the pandemic, a lot of people kept going, don't touch me, move far away, don't make contact. That was the order of the day. And that essentially made this contactless payment option become a thing back then, as far back as 2020, but it's even bigger now. So Adewale, walk us through this for those who might be wondering, what is contactless payment all about? Tell us, what is contactless payment, Adewale?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kaudi. Contactless payment is a payment that involves, is a payment that involves using a contactless enabled device for payment. In this type of a payment, you don't need to make use of cash. You don't need to make use of, you don't use your card to swipe. What you actually do is just making your card, if you have your card is enabled for contactless, you're just only tapping or bringing a card very close to the device. Also, you can also use a phone, the phone just very close to the device to make payment. All these things are designed in order to make sure that the alternative payment and to make payments to be so easy for customer. And knowing fully well with the advent or the prevalence of COVID-19, have made the banks and financial institutions or to look a way of making payments that will be similar, that you don't need to carry cash and that is more hygienic. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Adewale, for that. So you've heard, essentially, it is what it means, contactless, making payments without making contact. And there's a whole backstory to this one. Yes, the COVID-19 pandemic, but essentially with the trend in technology, you don't have to physically hand over cash to people. And that is well known, but we're taking it a notch higher to some of these options that you may not be aware of. But let me just maybe follow up at Adewale with this one. Just help us understand how it works. I mean, this is not magic. It is not juju. Clearly, something is behind contactless payment that makes it operate. So just quickly, if you can just give us a sneak peek into how contactless payment works, so people know that no be juju.
Actually, contactless is not magic. It's just a means of payment. As I said earlier on, you must have a contactless device that is enabled to do the transaction. It's right on near field NFC, near field communication. Both the device you are using, either a card or the phones that you are using, and there must also be a card reader or the device at the merchant end that can read it. And this is that near field communication is using a short range wireless communication that can be able to transfer financial detail from the card or from your phone also through the device and make the payment to go through. It's very seamless and easy.
You heard that. It is very seamless and easy. Just in case you're just joining us, you're welcome to the SME radio show brought to you by the Bankers Committee. And today we're taking the conversation a notch higher. We're talking contactless payment options. Last week, we talked about the NQR code. And this week, we're bringing you more ideas, more options to make business easier. I'm going to go to Adebayo now and to get your opening comments on this one. Now, you may want to add to what Adewale said earlier on about contactless payments, how it works, but just give us a picture of how important, why this conversation about contactless payment options, why is it important for businesses and by extension for consumers, customers like you and I? Adebayo, that's for you.
Oh, thank you very much, Kayode. And I'd just like to say that if you recall, there has been 2 incidences since the beginning of the year that have been of episodic proportion. The last 2-3 years were like COVID. So with COVID, you couldn't but do contactless. So the touch point became very difficult to access. They also became unsafe. So we had no choice but to embrace contactless. It became not just an in-thing, it became the secured way of transacting. The other issue was the cash crunch, the unavailability of cash, where the touch points became even difficult to get to. So all these have made contactless not just desirable, but imperative for banking. And I would like to say that this actually speeding up what we've been looking forward to as people in this space. In other climes, there have been a fast movement of contactless payments. The last episode we talked about QR code. In China, QR code is even used by beggars. Yeah, so they just hang their code, and then if you want to give them money, you tap on your phone and get the money. So other clients have gone far, but these 2 events I mentioned, speeding up contactless and we should be grateful for them, because it just means that out of every undesirable situations, you can have progress being made. So what I would like to just add also is that Especially for small and medium enterprises. These are people that want their transactions to be easier, to be safer, and to be more secured. And contactless promotes all these. By far, it gives them, and security has become a major part of customer experience now. So they will feel like they are better off in every contactless engagement. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Adebayo, for that one. And I mean, who would have thought that a lot of people are actually jumping in on this? And as you said, even the less privileged are making a use of this. So it talks about how fast it is. So imagine you're driving through traffic and you want to just, help someone, just quickly scan it and make that payment. But let's go even deeper and bring to life real examples, even much more. And I'll go to Kolawole on this one. Just tell us, we know that this is easy. We know that this is not just a future, it is today. We know that it has lots of advantages. We can't exhaust them even if we try to. So if something this good is available, you begin to wonder, why is it not as prevalent as you would expect it to be rather? So Kolawole, can you tell us just how widespread or prevalent in Nigeria is contactless, or are contactless payment options as at today?
So good evening, everyone. Thank you, Kaode. So contactless payments in Nigeria is beginning to gather momentum. It's not something that is very prevalent with businesses as we speak today, but it is beginning to gather momentum. Just like the last speaker said, I mean, in China today, even beggars use different form of contactless in making payment. That's to tell you the level of development that has gone into it. That's one of the reasons why this talk show is happening today. I believe I'm correct, Kaode, just to sensitize the public, to enlighten people that there are new methods of having to make payment. This is done in order to support the financial inclusiveness that CBN and operators, as we've been clamoring for over the years. Our payment culture is changing. If you remember, I mean, right from the days of trade by barter to when cowries was used, to when banknotes was being used and all of that. No, we are now moving to a period or a sphere whereby people do not need to carry cash. As a matter of fact, a lot of people do not need. If I can forget my wallet at home, but there's one thing that is very, that is very common with everyone, especially the Gen Zs, the phone. And on your phone, you have your Bible. I mean, you have your Bible, you have your Quran, you have different things, different applications that makes life easy for you. So what I'm trying to say is that the Bankers Committee is coming together to ensure that we have this enlightenment and campaign to sensitize the public of the need for us to imbibe a form of contactless payment. Not only is it very reliable, not only that it is fast, but it is also a very secure channel of doing business and of transacting in different sphere of our business environment today.
Indeed, Kolawole. So you heard that. It is what it is. It is the next phase of doing business. And just to reiterate, we are here to walk you through. We're here to hold your hands and walk you through all of these amazing and life-changing, innovative ideas for your business. So in case you're just joining us and you've got questions, perhaps questions on this contactless payment thing, maybe something is just not clear to you just yet, there's no harm in asking a question. In fact, there are no stupid questions, as some people would say. So ask your questions. Call us right now on 0810-608-1681 or 0818-202-5883. Call us up. We have Adewale, Adebayo, and Kolawole from leading banks in Nigeria to answer your questions. So let's move this forward now. And I'd like to come to you, Adewale, for this one. So we'll always tie this back to our conversation last week on the NQR code and how it changes a lot of things. And I imagine someone listening to us wondering, so wait a minute, is this contactless payment, or are these contactless payment options, are they different from the NQR code, or is NQR code one of them? Is it an option within the contactless payment society and all of that? So please tell us, how are they different? Are they one and the same? How does this work?
Okay, contactless has different options of making payments. NQR is one of the options of contactless payment. In essence, that anything that there's no interaction between the card and the device for payment is contactless. So NQR is part of the contactless and also is scan to pay, and it makes it transaction to be so easy as I said earlier on. And if that adoption to the candidate is rising in Nigeria for a few times now. There's been a lot of campaign, banks are pushing it. Awareness is really going on. And people are actually requesting for it, unlike some years back that people don't really have the idea of it, because it's a different option for people to make payment. And transfer is very smooth, transfer is very easy, and implementation is also very, very easy. Onboarding the customer is also very, very easy when it comes to NQR. Other options is also available for other options also available for contactless payment. But most of the ones that merchants are also using now is this NQR. Other ones, those that are taking that have much knowledge about know how to use other means or like Google Pay and an Apple Pay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adewale, for that one. So let's break it down further. Let's, if we can, list all of the contactless payment options available. If we can just run through them again for the benefit of anyone who's just joining us and just caught the conversation contactless. So if we can walk through them, we know now that the NQR code, that's the Nigeria Quick Response Code, is an option under the contactless payment options or payment options available. So which other ones do we have? And I'm going to run this by you, gentlemen. Adebayo, is there anyone that we may have missed out that you want to add? The contactless payment options available.
Thank you, Kayode. I think a major one, which I think we need to also talk about now because it's quite relevant to our society today, is what we call the tap and go. This lies on the tokenization of the cards. And it has its use cases very near us. So the Lagos Bus Rapid Transit System, or even the new metro line or the blue line Wales that is coming to Lagos, you just tap on the device and you pay. It's a major part of contactless. And even abroad, I mean, this is almost synonymous to contactless itself. That's what they regard as contactless. These are available everywhere. There are societies where nobody even puts his card in a device anymore. So that is the real contactless, and I think that's what makes the old proposition of contactless very exciting, where you leave customers with the choice of not even knowing what the device looks like. So you just tap and go, and very soon we will be having it even on our wearables. So wearables, your phone, your wristwatch, so you carry it on yourself, and payments become a lot more exciting. So for me, that's another kind of contactless that we should speak about, and use cases of it is building up even in our society today.
Fantastic. Thank you, Adebayo. So essentially, you become the money. Wherever you go, even if you don't have anything on you, you have your device, you just tap and move on. As you said, a lot of people might have used this in a BRT in Lagos. If you've been in Lagos, you may know what this is about. So it should not be anything alien to you. Or if you've gone outside the country, you may have also used this, but we're talking about how to make this widespread and prevalent in Nigeria so that doing business, making payments is much easier. Kolawole, I don't know if you want to add any other options. So we've had the NQR, that's an option, the quick response code, tap and go. Adebayo just added it. Kolawole, anyone who may be missing out, contactless payment options?
Well, it would also be nice to, that we also speak to the POS, because the POS, it's another form of contactless. Today now we can, through our card, we can tap on the POS, we can pay with transfer or pay with transfer on the POS. It really necessary. It is not all the time that you have to slot in your card in the POS. You can do pay with transfer these are other examples of contactless mode of payment that is beginning to gather momentum right now. I mean, we've had cases that of people reading card chips and all of that, fraudulent actions and all of that. So what contactless payment enables you to have is it is very, very secure when you, because it is not easy to decipher the security apparatus around it. So it makes it very easy to use. So it's another way, rather than the traditional way of having to slot in your card on a POS, you can also tap or what we know as pay with transfer on the POS at merchant touch point. So these are other examples that's very important that we are acquainted with.
Right. Thank you, Kolawole. So just picture anything that does not need you to touch to, just have any physical contact. It's contactless. And we're still going to get into how businesses can get on board some of these contactless payment options. I mean, you can actually do all of them if you want to, or select which one works for you. I see calls are coming in. We're going to be taking calls soon. We're also going to talk about what perhaps you need as a customer who probably wants to pay contactlessly, if there's any word like that. But let's still harp on perhaps the security aspect of this one. We're due for a break in just a couple of minutes, but we need to talk about security because that's a major one when it comes to money. Security, how secure are my funds? If I can just tap and go, what is the assurance that someone else cannot, maybe clone a device or do something that will get me to lose my money? So let's just speak to the security part. I know, Adewale, you had talked about this earlier on, but just for people who might still be wondering or thinking, I am not convinced, perhaps you want to reiterate how secure are contactless payment options?
Thank you, Kyle. The contactless is very secure in the sense that the transaction is encrypted. There is data encryption from the device and to the other device that is acquiring it. That's the device that is processing it. So the information, it is very difficult for people to decrypt it because they are using advanced encryption key for it. And one thing you need to know that my colleagues has also raised tokenization. When you are using tokenization, just a section of what you are using. So it is difficult for you to say that, oh, I know this and this is what the transaction will really be. So this transaction, and also because it's also going through a wireless communication, and you can be rest assured that your data is secure. In
Oh dear. But not to worry, we'll get him back, get Adewale back on this one. He was just trying to make
is what the copy side DSS. There is a standard that people need to pass through, and that shows that everything is secure. So let's actually.
Okay. We'll come back. Adewale, thank you so much. We lost you for a bit, but the point was made. If you're listening out there, rest assured that these payment options, contactless, there's a whole lot of technology working behind it that ensures that you are safe. But I don't know, Adebayo, if you want to add a few things to the talk about, safety and how businesses and customers can also participate in keeping this safe, because a technology is only as safe as you, the user, really maximize the safety option. So is there something you might want to add to it?
Absolutely, Kayode. Thank you. I think my colleague who spoke earlier had gone to some lengths in actually building the foundations for the security. I just wanted to add on that by speaking to the authentication and verification processes, which are also key to any security. And I'm talking specifically about the transactions that will happen on the app now, which will be tokenized for the purpose of carrying out a contactless transaction. So every app being used for tokenization, either as a bank or as a mobile wallet, requires card holder authentication and verification, which are set up for a moment. either on the app or the device. So such verifications can be Face ID, can be finger sensor, it can be pins. We typically say it here, and this is for the two FA discussion. So the central bank is very particular about you having a 2FA in place. What is a 2FA? 2FA is a second factor authentication. What this does is that it puts everybody mind at rest as to the security or to the safety or the security behind every transaction, such that if you do a trail of how a transaction has gone, you would know that all that needs to be in place has been in place before that transaction was authenticated. We typically say it entails what you have in your hand. That is the card. For example, what you know, which could be your PIN, who you are, which is for example your biometrics, your Face ID. That's who you are. Nobody can change that. I mean, what you know. So there's nobody that can have what you have, know what you know, and be who you are. So all this. So the contactless payment, puts a lot of premium on the 2FA, which is second factor authentication, and therefore is quite safe because somebody who wants to, it's like jailbreaking. Somebody wants to break into your transaction, have to have all these three, and it's almost impossible. Thank you.
Fantastic, Adebayo. What you have, what you know, who you are. I mean, those are very important points to make, really, and that's how the security works. And not to talk of all of the encryption that goes on the back door. Gentlemen, we are due for a break now. I am enjoying this conversation on contactless payment options for businesses out there so they can do business in a seamless, easier, cheaper way, and ultimately be at the forefront of their industry. But we have to go for a break now. Don't forget, we're taking calls now, 0810-608-1681 or 0818-202-5883. When we come back, we'll talk about how you can get on board, plus more. Please stay with us.
Central Bank of Nigeria don't announce change of currency. Every nobody go. Whether you want pay or you collect money, different options will go. In case cash no day available, you fit use mobile app, internet banking, ATM, POS, USSD, QR code, e-Naira, and others that take do your transaction. And if you don't get bank account, visit your bank. Make them open up for you. Make you no panic. Oh, last, all of us go day all right. This message now from Bankers Committee.
All right, you're welcome back to the Financial Literacy and Public Enlightenment radio show brought to you by the Bankers Committee. This right here is where MSMEs get the right financial advice, information, whatever you need really to help you make the right decisions for your business and even for your personal finance. On the show today, we are talking contactless payment options. Yes, it sounds like a tongue twister, but I tell you this, it makes your business easier, whether you're a business owner or a customer. On the other hand, no more emergencies such as, I didn't hold my ATM, I don't have cash in my pocket. All of that is in the past with all of these contactless payment options. Just quick recap, and we'll have things like the quick response code, tap and go, so much more contactless payment options that you can actually use to do business. Three gentlemen have been helping us understand, this world of contactless payment. Adewale Adedokun, lead POS business at Polaris Bank. Adebayo Olarinwaju, head cards and messaging business, First Bank. And Kolawole Temitokbe, who is head merchant services, Keystone Bank. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time so far. By the way, you can be a part of the show. You can send in your questions, or you can just call us right now. I understand we've had lots of calls, so I am open to the calls now. 0810-608-1681. I'll take that again, 0810-608-1681 or 0818-202-5883. Those numbers are the numbers to call to get live on this show. And you can also watch us live, by the way. SMEgrowth.ng is a place to go to. That's SMEgrowth.ng. So just before I take this next call, let me just go to Kolawole. Before the break, we were talking about security features. And I like the way Adebayo put it. There are other layers, what you have, what you know, who you are. These are also employed to secure this. But let's take a call right now. We have a caller online. Good evening. Welcome to the SME Radio Show. What's your name and where are you calling from? Okay, we'll get back to that. Looks like our caller dropped. But Kolawole, let me come to you now. Perhaps you might want to add to the conversation about security. And for you, what would you say is the big selling point for contactless payment options when it comes to security?
So when it comes to the security of contactless mode of payment, the encryption end-to-end is what is very, very unique about it. So from the person who is trying to pay to the merchant who is trying to receive payment, the information are encrypted end-to-end. So you are not exposed in any way. Say your PIN, your authentication PIN, or any of mode of your authentication of your validating your transaction is not open, is encrypted end to end. So, and that encryption makes it very, very difficult for any person with fraudulent intention to decrypt such information such that they could encroach into your account and do anything fun with it. So that's a major selling point, and the innovativeness that comes with this encryption makes it very, very difficult for any fraudulent persons to actually perpetrate any fraudulent thing on your account.
Okay, thank you very much, Kolawole. So let's get into this all-important question: how to get on board, be it NQR, tap and go, what have you. Yes, we'll talk about some of the regulations. Again, that's an important part of the conversation. But for anyone listening right now, either a business owner who's thinking, yes, I love this. I want to use this right away. In fact, by tomorrow morning, I want to get it on board so that I can get my customers to make payment easily. And, with that, people are actually more open to approaching your business because they see you as, ahead of the time. So, Adewale, let me come to you. As a matter of urgency, if someone wants to get on board contactless payment, the contactless payment options, what do they do?
Quite easy. Why I say it's quite easy is because the customer needs to have an account in terms of the financial institution. And because of the account that the person has with the financial institution, all other process of step 3 have been done. If the person have not really done open an account before, you can just go to financial institution, open an account, and be able to do all the KYC to get the detail so that you have the step 3 account. And then there will be an onboarding form. The body form will be given to the customer, who will fill, and some other details that after filling the form is submitted, and the back end will be done at the back side. For NQR, we onboard them on the platform, and after onboarding them on the platform, we make a decker for them and other things, and then also awareness in the environment that they can use this. But onboarding is very, very easy and it's seamless. even for the user, it's also seamless. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you heard that it is seamless, and that's one thing technology does. It makes life easier. Yes, there's still the security, the encryptions and all of that, but really it makes life easier all in all. So if you're a business owner, you heard that. But even if you're not a business owner, if you're a customer and you think, this would be good for the bread seller in my area, tell them tomorrow or even tonight, if you're going to see them tonight, that, Oga, Madam, have you heard about contactless payment option? Do you know that you can, as a matter of tomorrow morning, get on board? Tell them and give them these options. They should go to their banks and ask that they want to get on board any of the contactless payment platforms. And just like that, they are in. By the way, if I could just ask you, Adewale, how long does it take? Does it take days or weeks to get on board?
Within 48 hours, the whole process will have been completed. If it's
48
But
hours.
if it's somebody, what I'm saying is, if it's somebody that needs to open an account, some other things involved. But if you have an account before, I just said 48 hours, within 24 hours, that would have been, the communication would have been done. Just giving a grace of communication in essence that I need to make available the data for you, some awareness material for you. What we'll do, because it's very, very important that if somebody has this thing, awareness is also very, very important. And that is what will draw customer to your side.
Thank you very much. So you heard that, 48 hours, give or take. So you have, by Wednesday, really, you can have your own contactless payment option available at your store, at your business. So start today, start right now. You still have time, okay? Don't be caught napping on this one. Thank you very much. Let me go to Adebayo and talk about the cost implications, right? That's also another important point. What does it cost me? First, the business owner. If I'm going to get on board contactless, what would it cost me? First for onboarding, secondly for transactions, and as a customer who will be using the contactless payment options, what will it cost me at the end of the day?
Thank you, Kayode. And for the business owner, you just need to get the device. So you need to have a POS, a point of sale terminal, and it should be enabled for contactless payment. For another contactless payment that we talked about was the QR code. So if you don't have a QR code decal, you need to have a QR payment decal from any merchant that you want your customers to pay into. And the good thing is that there's interoperability on this.
Just a quick one, Adebayo. I heard you, Adewale, say decal. I don't want to take it for granted that everyone understands what it means. So what is this decal?
Okay, so in very simple and layman terms, the decal is that device or that token that is put on a merchant location for which you scan to get like a QR code.
So it's like a printout that is put in
exactly. Your QR code stand is what is called the decal. It's as simple as that.
Thank you very much for saving some of us. So you heard that. So you also get that from your bank. Your bank will give you that decal or that stand that shows your contactless payment if it's a QR code. So it's just as easy as that. But go on, please, Adebayo.
And there's something that I would like to mention, which I think is also good for merchants and for banks to also take note here. In the past, we used to have a lot of advertisements follow these decals. So, something as simple as QR payment accepted here. So, that was in the early days of QR. But because we feel that it has caught on, a lot of merchants and banks and merchants don't put on that notice anymore. That itself is an awareness for the consumer that he has options. So you just a sticker to say. So in those days there was no completion of a decal without a sticker, but now that we feel it has caught on, we just have a decal, and sometimes those decal can be anywhere, and customers are not even aware. So so if you have that, you have your POS, you have the decal, and then it's compatible to all your devices. So the contactless payments will be all the cards issued today by MasterCard, by Visa, and we are in the process of doing the same for Verve, actually, are all enabled for contactless. So there has to be that enablement of the cards. So, and it's the combination of these on that decal or on the POS that will make contactless payment possible. Where your the bank is set up for tokenization, you can also enable contactless payment to accept tokenized transactions. And their fees are accruing for transactions done with mobile wallet when they set up in Nigeria.
Yeah.
The last part of it that I would like to mention also is that the training is also important. So the staff needs to be trained on how this should be used at different locations, so that they may have more details. And I've always believed that any payment that has to be at the merchant point is mostly customer led. It's customer that will ask for the POS. It's customer that will ask for the decal, and that's why enlightenment is very important. When people know the benefits and they know that what it can do for them and that it is safe, they will ask for this. Back in the day, nobody was asking for POS. People were always insisting on cash until it caught on later on, and everybody knew that you can't be carrying cash about. So most of the awareness that we're doing today is for the larger good of society, because the customer will need to know to be able to ask for it.
Right.
So as to evaluate the contactless payment for the financial institutions, there's something that we call a merchant service fee and transaction. The contactless terminals today that I use today, there's a merchant service fee which is sacrosanct. So once you use that payment, the merchant service fee is highly regulated, so it doesn't affect what comes to the merchant.
Okay.
And that needs to be clearly emphasized, because a lot of people feel that once they use the POS or when they use any contactless method, they are going to lose some money. So if you make money on your goods that are sold, the merchant service fee is just like a commission you pay for any payment itself, but it doesn't affect your the cost of not paying it is what is more expensive. Because because if you are in a filling station, for example, and you allow your filling station operatives to pile on cash, the day there's a robbery or something, then there's more loss than the merchant service period. And even for filling station, it's free.
Yeah. So overall, you're saying that it is cheaper when you look at all of the possibilities. It is cheaper. Let me go to Kolawole now. I mean, we've spent quite some time on the cost angle, but perhaps you might want to add specifics. Well, maybe what's the percentage? Is it 40 naira? Is it 30 naira for the consumer or the customer or the person getting the money? What have you? Perhaps you want to add. But the point I want you to also speak to is regulations around this. I recall that the CBN just recently gave out some, new regulations regarding contactless payments in the country, certain limits, transaction limits, cumulative limits, and the rest. So Kolawole, I'd like you to speak to that also, so everybody knows we're on the same page as to the current thinking, the direction in the industry. Kolawole, it's over to you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now.
Oh, great. Regulatory, the limit per transaction is about 50,000, and the maximum for individual is about 50,000 naira for contactless payment as it is today. So the limit per day that you can do is 50,000 naira, and the minimum per transaction is 15,000 naira, and that is regulated that way so that we are not overly exposed to other things. So, but very important is the fact that just like I said at the beginning, that contactless mode of payment is just beginning to gather momentum, and so that hence the need for the awareness, hence the need for this conversation, hence the need for us to keep enlightening and educating the people how it is used. So that's why it's been fairly regulated, so that for people who are not averse to it yet, I mean, by the time you use it over a period of time, then you can get to know the things that you need to do and the things that you don't need to do going forward. But regulatorily, the limit per transaction has been regulated by CBN, is 20,000 naira and daily limit of about 50,000 naira for individuals.
All right. Thank you, Kolawole, for that one. So let me go back to Adewale now. And by the way, if you're just joining us, this is the Financial Literacy and Public Enlightenment radio show brought to you by the Bankers Committee. We've been having a very interesting time, enlightening time, actually, as it ought to be, talking about contactless payment options, why it is good for you to get on board as a business, what it will cost you, how easy it is, how soon you can be a part of it, and other issues around this one. And as I said earlier on, you can call us with your messages or your questions, what have you, on this particular conversation. 0810-608-1681 or 0818-202-5883. I don't want to leave you out. If you're an audience, if you're listening to us, we don't want to leave you out of this conversation. We also want you to be a part of it, as we've been getting some questions here and there. So call us right now, send us a message, and we'll be sure to get these men, brilliant minds in the financial services sector, to answer your question. Do not let them go. Get all that you can get from them, because it is really rare to get them in the same room at the same time. Adewale, let me come to you now. So just in case someone has tried this and you probably experienced an issue, or you think, who do I look up to now beyond this shop owner or this business owner? Who do they go to? What are the channels available for resolving possible issues that might come up?
Okay. For dispute resolution on all transaction that has to do with electronic payment, there's an industry standard already. Should somebody be using any of the contactless payment option, and there's an issue that maybe they've been debited and didn't, there's a dispute issue. Let's say that value is not being given unto you, there's a decline, something like that, and you've been debited. What you need to do is just go to your bank, lodge the complaint. The industry has a standard process within 72 hours that has been resolved to resolve issues. There's a reporter, bank that we log it to, and as a result of that.
Adewale, just a moment. We have a caller on the line. Adewale, if you can hear me, we have a caller on the line. Just forgive me, you landed that point. Good evening. Welcome to the MSME radio show. What's your name and where are you calling from? Okay, we seem to have lost that again. Not to worry, we'll ensure the connection works on the show this evening. But if you can hear me, caller, are you there? All right, Adewale, forgive me. We'll get back to the caller. Please go ahead with your point. Oh, I see you're back. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey.
You are on to the MSME radio show. Please tell us your name and your location. All right, not to worry. I mean, these things happen with the connection and all of that. But Adewale, over to you now.
Okay, the summary of it is that there is a standard process for resolution of the disputes when it comes to contactless payments, right on the existing process that we have. And it shouldn't cause any hassles or any worry. That's the fear of that, oh, there's something is going to fail as a result of that. Who should I talk to? Just know that talk to your bank. The bank is ready to offer all the necessary support for you to revert your money if there's a decline.
All righty. So you heard that there are no hassles, no issues. And if there are, you know where to go to. And with what we've seen, these issues are usually resolved. So that's also another layer to, rest your mind as to how effective, how easy, and how effective this contactless payment options are. Gentlemen, as we wind down, I want us to touch on some other issues, really. Perhaps tell our listeners out there for a millionth time why they need to get on board contactless payment options. Maybe there are rewards, additional incentives that banks provide, and all of the rest. Maybe that can convince them the more to get on board this. Okay, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the MSME radio show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ugat.
Right. Where are you calling from? I didn't quite get your location, Mr. Emmanuel.
My location is Enugu State.
Oh, Enugu State. All right. Please go ahead. What's your question?
Yeah, I'm from Chile side, Enugu State.
No problem. So please go ahead with your question.
The contactless company is at a different owner. How will I get if I have to get it?
Please, can you take that again? Can you take your question again one more time? Okay. I got the last part of your question, Mr. Emmanuel. How do I get it? But I missed the early part of it. But maybe just to reiterate how he can get it, let me go to Adebayo on this one. That's a question from Mr. Emmanuel calling us in. Just to repeat, I know we've talked about how to get on board, but maybe he missed this, Adebayo.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Coyote. To get on board the contactless payments as a business owner, we have said that you need to determine what device you like, and that's also optional. We have the POS, we have the decal for QR payments, and we have online payments as well, because I think that's one part of contactless payments that we sort of are not emphasizing on. Most businesses today are online, they operate online, and you find that you have at best a delivery man who comes to deliver after somebody has ordered something online. So what do people pay with? So a delivery man is not going to come to your house and you pay him cash. So for you to do your business, whether you are online or whether you are physically present at the location, you need to have a device to collect cash. And the easiest way to collect your cash in an easy, safer, and convenient manner is that device that does not necessarily have the customer worrying about whether he needs to touch anything at all. So get on board, get a device, and get going your business, because it's easier, it's more convenient. The use cases that we have built already speaks to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We have just about a minute to go on this one. So I'll yield to Kolawole to have a last word on contactless payment. We've talked a lot about how to get on board, the benefits, but one final thing, Kolawole, as I like to do, if there's still someone who is not convinced, what would you tell the person?
So what I need to tell the person is, how safe do you want your business to be? I mean, time has passed when people used to move around with cash. It is not safe to move around with cash nowadays. It is really not safe to move around with cash. And because you do not only want to stay alive, you also want your business to stay alive. So security becomes the most important thing, one of the important things for us to consider while running our businesses, for MSME businesses in particular. So you don't want to have a cash-based business that your people are moving around with cash, or yourself are moving around with cash. Transactions can be done online, and payment can be made via contactless platform, POSs, QR, cards app, and all of that. So it is very necessary for anyone who is looking at the longevity of your business to ensure you go the contactless payment mode. Thank you.
Hello, we have to run right now, but thank you so much for that final word. Adewale Adedokun, lead POS business, Polaris Bank. Adebayo Lariwaju, head cards and messaging business, First Bank. And of course, Kolawole, who you just listened to, Kolawole Tim Tokwe, head merchant services, Keystone Bank. Gentlemen, it's been an amazing time talking with you on contactless payment options. And of course, On behalf of the production crew, Bolanle Oyemi, the Director, FRC and Lagos Operations, and Mara Owoma, who's the Assistant Director, Programs, and of course the engineering team, Latif Olatunde, Daniel Koye, Idowu Eusebio, and Rewan Oladejo, not forgetting our techie guru, Mujtaba Ibrahim. Thank you so much, team, for making this work yet again. Until next time, when we come your way with more profitable information, don't forget to always make profit in whatever you do. I'm Kayode Okikelu.